Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. Today is Monday, October 9th, 2023. Um, and it's the start of the week again. If this is your first time tuning in, we just want to say thank you for tuning in, supporting us. This is News in Motion, your news media outlet with relevant commentary and call to action. You can catch us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, any audio and podcast platforms as well. Shout out to Miss Adrian and Miss Marion Jackson on YouTube. They are usually the first ones in here. Sometimes they're in here before we even go live. So, quick shout out to Miss Marion Jackson and Miss Adrian. To you who is tuning in through Facebook, tuning in through YouTube. For our viewers who are tuning in through Facebook, be sure that you send it to a couple of friends. Let us know what you have planned, not just for today, but also for this week. And the weather, y'all. Let's talk about this weather. It is cold. It was literally just 85 degrees last Thursday, and now we in the mid 40s. That's Ohio weather for y'all, but it is cold. I thought we were going into fall, not into winter. Um, so be sure that you bundle up. Make sure that your kiddos are bundled up as they are heading off to school. Good morning, Miss Lori Wallace, who is tuning in through Facebook, and good morning, Miss Hester Jackson, tuning in through Facebook as well. So, without further delay, you don't know what we do here. Let's get ready for some news in motion.
News in motion.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing on this Monday morning, October the 9th? It is Monday. Marion, Adrian, shout out to y'all. I'm with Isaiah. Y'all are always up in here. And I love how Adrian says, smash the like button. I see you, Latrice Jones, rolling up in here. What's up, Dr. Antoinette? What's up, Pastor Alex Williams? What's up? Victoria Murray, I gotta call you anyway. She's coming in from LinkedIn. So as you all are rolling up in here, as Isaiah said, it is cold, but I absolutely love the weather. I absolutely love this weather. Isaiah's in the green room going, shut that down. No, I do. I love it. When I heard the weather yesterday morning saying it was 44 degrees, I was like, yes, that's my weather. I like true fall. Thank you, Dr. Antoinette, that says sharing is caring. Thank you. But y'all, we have a lot to cover today. It may only be 2 or 3 stories, but we have a lot to cover. We want to make sure we get through all of that. But before we do, let me know how your weekend is going, please, or how everything you did this weekend. Not everything, but just give us some highlights on your weekend if you had a great time or not. I did. It was just nice. It was the blanket weather, the sweater weather. Y'all, what did I say, Lori? It was the apple caramel spice from Starbucks with the sweater on and just enjoying the fall weather. Latrice Jones says it's sweater weather for sure. Yes, it is. It is. Say that real fast, by the way. It is. All right, for everyone who's tuning in, we just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for doing so. Y'all, today is Indigenous Peoples Day, which is celebrated across the U.S. As you may have remembered, this was one time called Columbus Day, but then President Biden signed an executive order changing the name. So that's happening all day today. I see you, Davia, coming up in here. Yes, Marion, fall weather. I just love it. I love it. Dr. Antoinette says it feels like it was a blur. I'm sorry about that. Latrice Jones says highlight of the weekend was seeing Isaac go to homecoming. Listen. For those of you who follow Latrice Jones, she's actually a friend of mine. I call her sons, my nephew's Isaiah, is her son as well. When I saw Isaac And y'all know this story. She's been on here to share about Isaac. But when I saw those pictures, my eyes started sweating. He just looked so vibrant, so excited. His date was just absolutely lovely, beautiful, just everything about it. So shout out to the Joneses for, just pressing through. And when I look at their son, Isaac, it's just like he's just brilliant. Period. Just brilliant. Someone that the world would want to know and to hear his story. I see you, Yvonne Gardner. Pastor Alex Williams said he had a blast. He had a bad sports weekend. Maryland Orioles and Ravens lost. Double is busy. Okay. All right. Well, look, Colorado pulled through with that field goal at the end. I watched that. I actually watched Ohio State as well. Y'all, I'm gonna have to start liking Ohio State again because I've been invited to the game. So I was like, I guess I better get back in the mindset to go to Ohio State and cheer them on. So sorry about your luck there. Lori said Moses had a football game. I saw those images on Facebook as well. It's just exciting when you have started this community of people, this family, and see all your children and grandchildren doing some of the greatest things. And she says Moses had a football game on Saturday, and I had 2 blankets. It's just the perfect weather, just the perfect weather. Adrian says lots of football and work this weekend. That's why Ohio State University, it was homecoming weekend, I believe. And then your baby boy had his best game on Saturday. And then Victoria says she visited her grands in Atlanta. Yay, yay, yay. Just so good, just so good, just so good. All right, y'all, so let's get into some of the news. As we all know, we learned about Israel and Hamas and the fighting. Let's see, Davia said Oklahoma Sooners. Oh, that's right. That's where you graduated from, right? And then Grand Rising. What's up, Rodessa? And then Steelers. Here y'all go with the Steelers. Okay. So let me switch to something more serious. We learned Saturday afternoon our time that there was an attack on Israel from Hamas. Right at 2:48 p.m. Eastern time, we received this release from the White House. The readout says President Biden spoke this morning with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. The president again expressed deep sympathy for all those missing, wounded, and killed, and pledged his full support for the government and people of Israel in the face of an unprecedented and appalling assault by Hamas terrorists. They discussed the taking of hostages by Hamas terrorists, including entire families, the elderly, and young children. The president emphasized that there are no justifications whatsoever for terrorism, and all countries must stand united in the face of such brutality. President Biden updated the prime minister on the intensive diplomatic engagement undertaken by the United States over the last 24 hours in support of Israel. The president also conveyed that additional assistance for the Israeli Defense Force, that's if you see IDF, that's what that stands for, is now on its way to Israel with more to follow over the coming days. He goes on to say the leaders also discussed ongoing efforts to ensure that no enemy of Israel believe they can or should seek advantage from the current situation. The two leaders committed to stay in regular contact over the coming days. In addition to that, I see you, Elizabeth Towns. Good morning to you. Good morning, Robert Holman. In addition to that, he also gave another statement with an update talking about the moment of tragedy. He talked about the support. He talked about the appalling images, and there are some, and I won't show them here. Hamas terrorists crossing into Israel, killing not only Israeli soldiers, but Israeli civilians in the street, in their homes, innocent people murdered, wounded, entire families taken hostages by Hamas days after the Israel marked the holiest days on the Jewish calendar. He shares some more about some things that they're going to do, the defense, and how he's asking everyone to come together and pray. So you may be asking, well, who's Hamas? Well, it's the largest Palestinian militant group and has fired rockets from Gaza at Israeli cities in the fighting. They were founded in 1987 during the first Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation of Gaza and the West Bank. I do have an image. As many of you know, I was there in 2019 doing a prayer piece there. Um, and I pulled out my old map. So this map is a double map here. You can see the West Bank, and you can see the Mediterranean Sea, Israel, Jerusalem, Bethlehem. You can just get a glimpse of that. This is from USA Today, and this is a size comparison. You'll see the West Bank and Gaza. And then you can see the population there is 2 million. West Bank, the population is 3.3 million. And it shows you there Delaware. So that just gives you a size comparison to what's going on there. Along with that, the Israeli Defense Fund, the IDF, is the combined armed forces of Israel, including Army, Navy, and Air Force. And it was established in 1948. 2 weeks after Israel declared itself a state. Now, as of this morning, this is the most recent information I have. As of this morning, at least 700 people reportedly have been killed in Israel. A staggering toll on the scale of the country has not experienced in decades, with nearly 500 killed in Gaza and about 2,000 people wounded on each side. The initial assault included the attack on civilians at a crowded music festival where authorities removed about 260 bodies, and Hamas claimed to have taken more than 130 Israeli captives. Now, again, and I want to just share this with all of you. Because it's interesting. I said, wow, I can relate to exactly where they are and what they're doing. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to see if I can put this on the screen. Yeah. So this was one of the villages, places that we visited, and I'm tying this into. First of all, we had to take an armored covered bus. This is in 2019. Armored covered bus to get there. Bulletproof bus to get there. And this was a therapy center with children. And these children, many of them were wounded from an attack not long ago. So I would say 2 years before that, 2019, so 2017. There was a girls' school there as well, and everything that was going on there. But I want to also show you, I blocked out their faces on purpose because some of them had wounds on their faces, but they actually watched their parents die. They were in midst of bombing even back then in 2017, but again, I was there 2019. That's just their place where the children were housed and where they have bomb shelters and bunkers. Now, I want y'all to see this particular picture because the bus went past here, and this is where we were headed. And if you would see it in English in the bottom, it says, "This road leads to Palestinian village. The interest for Israeli citizens is dangerous." And we rode up in there, okay? So I just wanted y'all to see that. So there's even signs out there saying that to go any further, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to do that. That was 2019 again, but that was from 2017 and 18 bombings. And even while we were there, there were fire flights flying over us all the time while we were there. So that's all. That's their lookout thing. I'm just giving you a inside look, and all these pictures are mine. I'm giving you an inside look of what it was like in 2019, and the things you're seeing on television are probably let me see, not as bad as in real time. So if it's horrific now, take that times 10. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's a lookout. That's some of the bunkers that people can go into. And this is one of the areas where people were waiting to be even evacuated back in 2019 when we were going through praying. That's another bunker area as well. And then again, that's the map. So I just wanted to share that with you all to give you a perspective of what's actually happening and what that looks like, and the danger and the forewarning signs that are there. This is 10 times worse. This is probably 20 times worse. This is all a full out war at this point. So, from early morning news, Prime Minister Netanyahu warned of a long and difficult war. He put that out there, talked about the surge of armed militants across the border. New York Times is reporting that the prime minister has vowed to retaliate and his words are turn Hamas strongholds into rubble. There's news that's coming in from every direction. So let me apologize to some of the news outlets. Now I have so much information. So if I miss you, I know that there's coming from Axios, Politico, uh, Washington Post, the New York Times, PBS, AP, that's the Associated Press, BBC, and others. So if I did not give you the correct credit, I'm giving it to you there in one package. There were two members of Congress who finally got out on yesterday. That's Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey and Representative Dan Goldman of New York. They were able to depart Israel unharmed after being present for some sort of discussion over the weekend. By nightfall on Sunday, the estimated death toll hovered around 1,100 people killed within 36 hours. And that was at the same point that the senator and the representative was trying to get out. Cory Booker said in a statement he was shaken, angered, and heartbroken after taking cover in a bomb shelter in Israel. And again, I showed you some of those images there. Elizabeth Town says, on the map you shared for size comparison, what's the population of Gaza and what is that small town compared to in Israel? Let me see if I can pull that back up. Isaiah, if you're there, I don't know if you can pull that up or not. Let me see if I can pull it up. Size comparison. And again, now when I put that up, I can't see the questions. I don't recall. Well, you can see there. Oh, thank you, Isaiah. Isaiah's on the. What's the population? Okay, that's 2 million. And is it that small in comparison to Israel? Yes, it is. When you look at that particular map, you see Gaza on the side there. You see the West Bank in that first picture there. So that's the size. And then if you look at this is my map that I put up here, that I brought in. It gives you an idea of the size, but you don't see Gaza on there because it's off to the side in that small little strip that you can see in the size comparison. Hopefully that answered your question and that helps. So there's a lot going on there, and we also have Russia and Ukraine. So a lot of prayer, y'all, that needs to go forth. And that's going to be kind of like my inspirational message that I'm weaving in and out throughout of this. It's interesting that when I heard this news, I immediately thought of the area that we went into. You're welcome, Elizabeth. She's saying thank you. The area that we went into, because you could see it, and even then, again, that's 4 years ago. But even then, just the resistance, the anger, is a lot of politics that goes on. The whole political piece of it. I think I shared with you. I got stopped at the airport trying to leave because I was in the chambers. Within the prime minister, and I don't know if they were just making sure I didn't have anything or what, but even that was intimidating. And they was going through my Bibles and everything else, but it's high security, and being that it was the time that it was with Yom Kippur, just a lot going on. So we got to pray for them. I see you, Deborah. Good morning to you. We just have to pray for them. So the first image that I showed y'all with the children, I want to go back to that just for a moment. Y'all just let me take my time because I want y'all to get a picture and a feel for what's really happening here. Okay, this is that place. And here's again the girls. I had a blast with these girls. They were cutting up. We were having fun. They would follow me everywhere. So we created a relationship as well. So this is from that organization. It says our country, and they sent this out to those of us who were there. Our country is experiencing an unprecedented nightmare. Our children are facing unimaginable terror because they've already experienced this before. The trauma they are experiencing is profound, and it is with heavy hearts that I write you today. They said the effects of the war on Israeli children are horrific. Many have experienced violence firsthand, lost loved ones. They witnessed the loss of loved ones and are living through the constant fear and uncertainty for their family's safety. These experiences have left deep emotional scars and will continue to haunt them unless we take action. And they talked about how they have partnered with mental health professionals to provide the immediate intervention and future therapies that these children so desperately need. And I share that again because I wanted to speak on this. Some of you may have been seeing some of the images where women are walking down the street or children walking down the street, and all of a sudden a bomb is going off, or buildings are collapsing because they're flattening out all over, and they're taking them aside. Many of these children, if they're walking by themselves, they've already witnessed their loved ones or siblings or someone being bombed. And I learned all this when we were there. So just to see some of this, I just want to give y'all a perspective of what's going on, and to say, pray for these children, pray for these families, pray that this fight will just cease. Um, so, um, thank you, Dr. Antoinette, for posting on Facebook earlier this weekend. So, if you're wondering about the house, and as y'all know, we've taught here on News in Motion, and I'm sure you learned this in school as well. The house has the power of the purse. That's what they have. So, the unelected Speaker Pro Tem, Representative Patrick McHenry, is effectively powerless at this point. There's nothing they can't write anything. Now there can be an executive order that goes out from the office of the president, but House can't do anything right now. The House under the House rules, the interim speaker can act only as a matters that relate to the election of a new speaker. Gavel in, gavel out, and preside. That's really all they can do. They can't do anything with any bills or anything. So they're kind of like at a standstill in the midst of a horrific fight in Israel. Also, we have McCarthy, who is rumored. There's people close to him that's stating, I had this on my page as well, that he will be vacating the House by the end of the year. See ya, whatever. But with all of that, tensions are rising. The fighting is continuing in the House of Representatives. It's continuing. Now, the House is expecting to elect a new speaker this week. And as rumors have it, the former guy wants to go to see if he really wants to run for speaker. At this time, we don't need anything like that. We need business. We need the House to take care of the people. There's a lot that's going on. And then Jim Jordan is running for speaker. He's from the Freedom House Caucus. You have a lot that's happening inside the Republican Party. They're going after, I think her name is Nancy Mays. They're going after her because she voted to oust Speaker McCarthy. There's a lot of fighting that's happening. Then we have the Supreme Court. I haven't talked about it much. Yeah, you're right. The House of Chaos. I haven't talked about it much. They started hearing oral arguments last week. They have some more oral arguments to hear this week. And one is the ongoing battle between the LGBTQ plus rights and religious freedom. So that's happening in the Supreme Court. It will begin on tomorrow. And Wednesday, they're off today, of course. Marion says, could that have been the plan to not be able to conduct business without a speaker? Possibly. And y'all, and I'm not a poll person, but people follow this Gallup polling, and it shows that 63% of the US adults agree with the statement that the Republicans and Democratic parties do such poor job of representing the American people that a major party is needed. So that has come out over the weekend as well. People are talking about it. And over the weekend, as we know, Dr. Cornel West was running as a Green Party ticket. He has now left the Green Party. He's now running as an independent. And the Democrats are upset about that he's running as an independent because they believe that he's going to take a lot of people. His camp alone registered 15,000 new voters in less than 24 hours on Saturday. So 15,000 new voters. Um, how many more will follow him with the independent vote? Will that split the Democratic vote, or will it split the Republican vote? What is going to be the outcome with that? There's so much going on. Kim Edmondson says, so true. What a mess. Davia says, seems to me Hamas took advantage of the disarray in the U.S. government, Israeli greatest ally. Yeah, yeah. The timing, and I think we talked about this last week, everyone, where I said, right now, the whole world knows what's going on. Anything can happen. Anything can happen because someone asked a question last week about the same thing, and I said, this is. I think I gave you. That's when I was going through the U.S. Constitution, the Code of Law, the U.S. House of Representatives, the U.S. Copyright laws. I was going through that and was sharing all of the possibilities that could happen. That's what we do here on News in Motion. It may be boring to some people. Some people love it. I love it. And I love that you all trust me to share this information with you. Elizabeth Town said, party politics is not working in our country. Not at all. Not at all. But we have to get beyond one or the other. And that's one thing I've been talking about since we've been on the air with News in Motion. I get a lot of pushback, but I don't care. Is that vet the people you're voting for. And if that means you're splitting tickets, you're splitting tickets. We have to stop allowing other people to define for us who we're going to vote for and how we're going to vote. And we have to stop being lazy and do our own homework and find and make the decision who we're going to vote for and why. Mike Nicholson says, vet them. Absolutely. Patricia Lau says the Democratic Party needs to get themselves together and work for the people. Look, both parties need to get themselves together. I hear you. I agree. Mike Nicholson, vet them. He's said that a few times there. Elizabeth Towns, yes, Africans are saying how America is operating like a third world country. We've lost something. We've lost something. And it comes back to teaching. So let's get there. Y'all, voter registration deadlines. There's a lot of you on here from different states. If you don't mind, put your last day to register in your state for this upcoming election on November the 7th. Adrian, I kept thinking when you said November the 8th last week, I was like, I don't think that's right. It's November the 7th, y'all. It's Tuesday, November the 7th. I think it's how we looked at the calendar and we were talking about it. So y'all, please list your state and the deadline. I live in Ohio. The deadline for voter registration in Ohio is tomorrow, Tuesday, October the 10th. It is tomorrow. So make sure you register to vote. Don't think since this isn't the presidential election, this election isn't important. This election is extremely important. Read your issues, the measures that are on your ballots. Look at the school. A lot of school taxes and levies and things are going up there as well. Local government, y'all pay attention. Start doing your research. You can go to ballotpedia.org. www.ballotpedia.org. Put in your state and look to see what's happening. You can also get from Ballotpedia a sample ballot. Pull that up so you can look at it and see what's happening there. All right, I'm going to give y'all a few of these in case your state's not on here. Because I want to make sure I arm you with this, and maybe I'll put the link in the chat later on. Alabama voter registration deadline in person 15 days before election day, by mail postmark 15 days before election day, online 15 days before election day. So in Alabama, everything is 15 days before election day. I'll go to Arizona in person 29 days before election day or on the next immediate business day. So you need to check with Arizona. Just go to your Secretary of State's office to get that information. Online 29 days before election day. Lori Wallace says, stop just voting for someone just because you think you belong to a certain party. Yes, please say that again, a little louder for people in the back. In California, in person 15 days, by mail 15 days, online 15 days. So same thing in California as with Alabama. Connecticut, in person, submitted by noon on the last business day before Election Day. Of other primary elections, submitted 7 days before Election Day of a general election. By mail, postmarked 5 days. Online, submitted 5 days. So I'm just pulling some of these out in case you don't know. In Hawaii, in-person election day through voters who register fewer than 10 days before. I think the best thing I can do to help everyone out, in case you cannot remember this, is to grab this link and put it in the chat so that you will have it. Go look at it, pull up your links. Y'all, we're here to give you all the information you need. And just so that you know, y'all, voting is very important. I'm trying to put this in here now so that you can have it. I'm just kind of doing double duty today. That's not going to work. I almost put something in there that I'm not supposed to put in here at all. See, I can't do two things at once. But we will get that link in here for all of you so that you can have it. But it's so important that we I was really trying to get this to y'all. We have a responsibility, and here at News in Motion, we are still trying to register 1,000 people a month to vote. So y'all, we have time now. If everyone will register 10 people who are tuning in today live, we're there, almost there. And if all the replay people, there's 1,000 of you almost daily on the replays. If you would just hit that, that would be great. But y'all, that's where we are. That's where we are. So inspirational message for today. I'm not so sure it's an inspirational message, but I want to call people to pray. I want to call people to pray for Israel. I want to call people to pray for Ukraine. I want to call people to pray that wars are stopped. I want to call people to pray for the right Speaker of the House of Representatives. I want to call people to pray that we will encourage people to register to vote, but not to stop at the registration, but to also participate, to do their due diligence and looking up people. Even last night when I was praying, I was asking God that the rockets would not take off, the weapons would not take off, that ammunition would just crumble, that people would wake up and see this is not worth it. We're killing innocent people. I was praying that people would learn how to start having conversations and come to the table and agree to disagree, but that does not mean we need to kill people or fight people or rape people or steal from people, that we can find a way to love one another. I go back to something that I've said for a long time here. The word calls us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And I think one of the challenges today is that we aren't loving ourselves enough. So how can we even begin to love our neighbor? And so maybe it starts with ourselves. How do we get there? This freedom walk that I'm on, I cannot explain it at all, but there's such a freeness that, okay, let me mind my business. Let me do what I need to do. Let me love myself. Let me love other people. Let me walk in the truth of God and live my life accordingly. So this was a different news this morning, but news we wanted to share with you. I wanted to show you some of these images. It's easy to see things, but it's like, I was there. I can show you some of it. I know somebody who's there right now, and we're hoping that he gets out of there. But just to pray, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. That's one thing we should remember and stay focused on. Y'all, political parties, politics. My question that I asked myself this weekend, are politics ruining the world? And how do we start selecting people or electing people who really have a heart for the constituents, for the economy, for the world, for healthcare, for financial obligations, for immigration, for foreign policy, and I can go on and on and on and on, but have a real heart. And if they don't know it, to connect with somebody who knows it, so that we're building an infrastructure that's building people up, not tearing them down, not benefiting just 1%, and the 99% are off to the side somewhere else. So a lot of this, I believe the teaching that we have to continue and bring about. There's, I'll share it tomorrow, but AARP, they're looking for volunteers to help elderly people and seniors understand some of their financial work and their taxes and so forth. And there's so much that needs to be done on a lower level. I don't know if I want to say lower, on a different level, that people are just becoming frustrated because they don't know how to do things. We got to stop fighting each other and start helping each other. Start helping each other. All right. Hester says, walk in the truth of God. Powerful statement. Lori says, pray. Just pray for as many situations and people that you can throughout the day. Lori also says, politics are ruining the world and people. Marion Jackson has the inspirational message up there. All right, y'all, that's all I have for today. Again, this was a different type of news, but I wanted to take my time to go through that. And hopefully something came out of this for you. Our immediate thing here in the States, pray for the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Please, please, please pray, because that's going to dictate what's going to happen over the next 12 to 14 months here in the U.S. All right, y'all. Keep moving. Make bold moves yourself. And remember to live your life in abundance. We're out.
NewsInMotion.